Josh, we're glad you were surprised.
Once upon a time, however, Josh met his wife, Katie, at the ripe age of 5 years old, while his family was stationed at the Air Force Base in Fairbanks, Alaska. This time, we want to hear from a couple of those teens that are now thriving adults from that youth group.
Who's coming? And she was like, oh, all of his friends. I was like, the 7? I can speak in front of a group of 7 people. This is no big deal. I'm not sure how much she paid you guys to be here. How could I ever forget? This man skipped effeminately, singing with a lisp through Preacher Boy's class, singing, I can't do it, you know how to do it. A tisket, a tasket, I got a little basket. That same man drove my sisters and I down the road to Addenbrooke Park to listen to John Piper's essay and book on how to cling to the gospel through tragedy the week we found out my mom had cancer. And I'll never forget. And he spoke truth to me. And it carried the same excruciating pain, and it was just as equally necessary to remove the negative things in my life so that infection wouldn't set in.
Holy Father Joshua, spiritually superior to usward, the patron saint of Bamquisha. The next 2 years of high school, I had Josh as my spiritual leader, not my dad, not the senior pastor. And then there was Utah, the week of too much canvassing and not enough helmets. It didn't go as planned. Thank you for the conversation in the church van that steered me away from certain colleges and toward another college. Thank you for working overtime to re-preach every moralistic sermon we heard at the Rocky Mountain Youth Conference. Thank you for taking Brandon and Caitlin and me out of school on a hard day and gently directing us to trust God's bitter providence. You made us feel guided and supported and seen, and you set our hearts toward God for the hardest years of our lives.
So we decided that the next best decision would be to get his real estate license right as the market was crashing and resign his youth pastor job before he got fired. God, literally, I remember that night. God knew. I was like, Jason, what is he doing? I don't know, Jen, I need to go.
So you are loyal, supportive, funny. You have the greatest collection of cool socks. And, you know, some people exercise their success with a series of Rolexes. I prefer to see what's on your feet.
I would not be here in like where we're at right now as our family in business without Ann Dane. I would not be here. I can't tell you how many times I sat in her office and was ready to quit. And she said, I think you should hang in there. I remember asking her, have you ever seen anybody struggle like this? Like, is this wise? So thank you, Ann. I love you.
I love you too, Josh.
Jay and Juan have been true friends to Josh. They have been there during hard times, good times, in almost 12 years of working together. They have not only been pastors together, but they have been occasionally fought crime in our neighborhoods.
I saw a guy on Jason's bike and he's right over by Bruce Randolph and Franklin. And I was laying on my couch at home. I said, well, call the cops. I already did, they're not coming. And so we started stalking out this guy who actually went behind this storefront, and there was a closed-in fence area, and he went in the back gate, closed the gate, and disappeared. And so we stalked him for an hour waiting for the cops to show up.
It was more like 2 to 3 hours.
I wasn't there yet, but yes, the cops, the good old cops of District 2, still did not come.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. So anyways, it was totally Narco. Yeah, if you see Narco, it was a Narco moment, yeah.
So then I needed to strike fear into him, so I took my SUV and ran up on the curb, right toward him full speed, and I stopped about 2 feet from his kneecaps and turned my brights on while Juan was spitting in his face.
And Jay comes out yelling, screaming, "Put your hands behind your back!"
That's what somebody might have said. Somebody might have said, either put your hands up or put your hands behind your back. Jay said, put your hands on your shoulders.
Aside from Keller and Piper, I have learned more from you about the gospel than anyone else. Whether it be a text, Voxer, or late night conversations, I always love hearing new gospel insights that you're discovering from your time in the Word. Your intimate friendship is one of my most prized possessions. You're a friend with whom I can always be my authentic self. Over the years, we've been able to strip our ideal self to reveal our real selves, vulnerable and imperfect. Other than Courtney, you know my fears, areas of struggle, and even more specifically, my areas of wrongdoing better than anyone.
I had such a bad experience in 2013 from coming here, and then learning that these guys had all gone to fundamentalist Baptist Bible colleges. I was really very suspicious of you, and I don't know how I came across, but I remember probing you constantly in areas because I thought even though you said you weren't, I thought you were a secret fundamentalist.
Josh, a big 4-0. I can tell you after 40 it starts to go downhill pretty fast. It all becomes a blur after 40 and stuff that people never were able to get away with before, like pulling a surprise birthday party on you. And when you were turning 39, Katie would have never been able to get away with that. Marcia and I both got so sick we couldn't believe it. I actually thought we were dying, I really did, and neither one of us had the energy to even get up and put on a pot of soup for the other one. And boy, in my worst times, Josh would show up with some Popeyes fried chicken. Josh, there's no Popeyes out in Camp Douglas.
But it is an honor to speak about a man who is practically on his deathbed. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about how God chooses the weak instead of the strong. That's you. Weak, scrawny, youthful in appearance, but quite frankly to a fault. You're not too sporty. I know as of this afternoon, you definitely cannot golf. And they picked Josh over the other agents. And when Josh asked why, they said, because you looked and you spoke to our mother with respect. It is her home. Everyone else spoke to the kids because they thought that we were the ones who were tracking everything. And you actually spoke to our elderly mother. And that for us was the difference.
And the quality that really sticks out is your perseverance to stick with it. And the story of fruitfulness is what we have heard tonight. Fruitfulness in people's lives and pointing people to Jesus and loving people the way they should be loved. And it's a real testimony.
You that don't know, it has been a father to me over these past 10 years. And this is the honest truth. I literally think of you every time I find myself apologizing to my kids or apologizing to my wife because I learned how to do that from you. And I don't think there's anything more valuable that you could have given me.
La primera vez que te vi
The first time I saw you
fue cuando te ordenaron anciano
was
en la
when you
iglesia
were ordained
junto
as
con Juan.
an elder at Providence.
Tú no eres de la orden de Aarón,
You're not from the order of Aaron.
tampoco de la orden de Melquisedec.
You also are not from the order of Melchizedek.
Tú eres de la orden de los fabricantes de carpas.
You are from the order of the tent makers.
Tú eres el modelo del apóstol San Pablo,
You're the model of the Apostle Paul
que usas tu profesión
that uses his profession
para financiar tu ministerio en la
to
iglesia.
finance his ministry at the church.
Y que eres alguien que eres bendición para la iglesia y no una carga para la
And you are
iglesia.
one of those that are a blessing to the church, not a burden to the church.
Church planting is not easy, and a lot of it was a blur. So sometime during the first 5 years of Providence, Josh and Katie added the last 2 kids into the Larsen family. They finally got a girl. Where's Jaden? She's back there playing with the other girls. It's her shot. They finally had a girl, but not the last part of their family. They added Trayton, which we're so glad you're here too. He was added.
What I'm continually impressed by is your softness, your ability to listen. Yesterday in prayer, I was thinking about what to say, and a single image kind of bubbled up, and it was of kind of like a gold in a stream, the way you would pan it out. And I just knew it. I was like, that's Josh for me. I thought of a prospector just setting up structure in the river to find what is valuable. And I see you do that with people and in business. You hold space for people continually at cost to you and your family. You've held space for me. There's times even like me, I notice, wow, like around Josh, my words matter.
So, happy birthday. Now, my dad is the best man I know. He is funny, protective, and always available. A funny story I can think of was when I stabbed myself with a knife. My dad went into a fancy store and told us to wait in the car. I decided to open a bike lock that had zip ties. I cut through the zip tie too fast and stabbed myself in the hand. Now this is a quiet, fancy store, and I come in shouting in sheer panic, "Dad, Dad, Dad." The people in the store, the employees, just saw blood rushing down my arm. We're like, "Should we call an ambulance?" And you said no. And so we went to the bathroom, rinsed out my hand, and we're on the way to the hospital. The result was 2 stitches. My dad is always there for me. I feel that I can talk to you about anything, and that's what a father should be, a trustworthy person. He is always looking out for me. He hates to see his children in pain. This is a loving father. My dad is the perfect father. I love him so much. So happy birthday. I love you.
Hey everyone, I just want to start off by saying that my dad is the best dad anyone can ever ask for. You might disagree, but that's okay. Clearly, you haven't grown up with him. And if you did, your opinion would be different. I want to say that Dad, you truly are the greatest. I was struggling, like really struggling in school, and I was going against God in so many ways, and I was caught every time. You caught me doing things day after day, and then weeks by weeks, and I thought you were just about ready to give up on me. That was my real mindset. My anxiety told me my dad is tired of me, and I'm just a disappointment at this point. I was preparing myself to accept it, and you did the unexpected. You put your arm around me, and you did exactly what Jesus would have done. You said, "Braden, you will make mistakes in your life. You will never be a disappointment to me and your mom ever. I will truly always love you more than you will ever know, and I'm proud of you. In fact, you're stronger than I ever was as a kid, and I'll always be proud." And then he said, "Braden, I'm going to show you grace and love, and that God would want me to show you. And that day he took me out to IHOP instead of school, and we talked and talked, and I cried and cried. It was a deep pain that I felt, and he said to let it all out. He said, I won't judge you, I will love you, and I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. If you hadn't done that, chances are I wouldn't be standing here today. You have a crazy amount of patience with me, and I strive to be that patient. I mean it when I say I really could not ask for a better loving dad. I love you a lot, Dad. I know I'm probably bad at showing it, but you really are the best. You have always been there for me, and I know that you always will be. So, Dad, I really love it. I really love you, and I mean it when I say I love you. You're the best father I could ever ask for. Thanks, Dad, I love you. Happy birthday. You have a great impact on my life.
This is gonna be embarrassing. Dad, I love you and I know you love me. Happy birthday. I love you because you always will be there for me. You always cut out part of your day so we can play with me, and I know we fight and argue sometimes, but I will never stop loving you. I will never touch your ways. Favorite thing to do with you is play catch. I love you so much. I love that you can joke around with us about something we can understand, like video games and Jason not being able to have a boyfriend. I love you, and I'm thankful that you are a great dad. You're a really big impact on my life. I love you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, buddy. Good job.
He felt this extreme pressure to always get it right. Whatever life was throwing at him, he had to get it right. And so we tried to alleviate the pressure from him of having to get it right. But through all the stories tonight, and the foibles, and the laughter, and the failures, and the ups and the downs, he got it right. If this isn't right, I don't know what right is, you know. And I hope you just take that and believe it.
Through the nations, when young and old will turn to Jesus. All right, sing it out, Trayton. Bring light, you heavenly gates. Prepare the way of the risen Lord. All right, open up the doors. Open up the doors and let the music play. Let the street resound with singing. Songs that bring your hope and the